can they make moves with that number 2 pick that makes that a competitive roster? Or do you make moves, you use the 2 pick, and you just start a nice slow rebuild? I don't know.
I think that there are a lot of trades out there and players that you could put with a LaMelo Ball that are on his timeline, not getting a rookie, which I think drafting Scoot would be great for this franchise, personally. But if they'd elect not to go that route, there are options out there. I mean, if we're looking at the rumors, the Pelicans have been rumored to be trading Zion and Brandon Ingram. So Zion's potentially going to be moved before Thursday. But if they want to trade Brandon Ingram as well, I've seen his name out there a ton. And Brandon Ingram for the number 2, I think is a deal that you can do. You can also try to get Herb. You can look at, if you feel like Charlotte needs to give up more, they have James Bouknight, Kai Jones. They have first-round draft picks they could trade in the future. But I think that could be a potential deal for Charlotte if they don't want to draft Scoot and they want to get a guy that's already established like a Brandon Ingram.
If I'm Charlotte, I'm drafting Scoot Henderson. I'm not even thinking about Brandon Miller. I don't think that
I agree.
They need to draft a guy like Brandon Miller because LaMelo Ball is the type of player that his play style, he could essentially play with anyone. He's very unselfish. He doesn't need to score 40 points a night. He's going to be more around that triple dub, maybe with like 20 points or something. Great catch and shoot shooter. That's why I think Scoot Henderson is a great running mate with him. And if it's not, let's say they almost follow the blueprint of what the Kings did. We had Tyrese and we had De'Aaron. And then, we ended up trading Tyrese and got Sabonis. And then look what that did to our franchise.
Agree.
So that's why I think you always draft best available and then try to figure it out.
Especially when you have a top 3 pick in a draft that is so loaded at the top. Mm-hmm. And we have heard about Scoot as long as we've really heard about Victor. And we knew Scoot he's not a 1B, but he's a number 2 that could be a first round, number 1 overall in a lot of draft classes.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have 8 guards on your roster. You need to look at Scoot and say, you have a higher, his upside compared to Terry Rozier is night and day. Like, you should look at Terry Rozier as if he is a cheese sandwich.
And the thing is Terry Rozier would get you a good return
yes.
if you put him on the trade market.
I don't know if he would.
Trade Rozier for some role player.
Rozier's making like 18
capital.
mil.
Yeah, his contract isn't great. But don't overthink it. Sometimes we overthink things because we care so much about how it'll actually fit. Don't overthink it when you have a potential generational talent of a point guard.
I hear you. He's
also being mentored by like Steph Curry. Like
that's true.
There's guys around the league, like elite guys that like see the potential in Scoot and is like, yeah, I'll mentor you.
Would you rather have $500,000 be mentored by Steph Curry? Like that?
I like that. I'd rather have $500,000.
Yeah, I would too.
My stage of my career. I don't know.
So if they do elect to draft Scoot, I think that's a good move for them. But you mentioned going down the Kings route, trading for a guy like Domantas Sabonis. He was at the time a 2-time All-Star. Yeah. Brandon Ingram's a 1-time All-Star, and I see that as a very similar move to this. And I think that right now the East is wide open. The East sucks straight up. All the stars are leaving the East. It's you know what? Charlotte can run it with LaMelo and, try to pair him up with a guy like Brandon Ingram and maybe sneak into the Eastern Conference Finals.